What would have possessed that boy to do such a thing? Mummy asked when we were having supper in the lounge. South Africa, said Daddy. Pure and simple. They pick up fast ways over there. Drugs, mandrakes, and even worse. But, said Mummy, to do something like that? I was looking at where Daddy was sitting, thinking that not too long ago, that boy had sat in the exact same place, cradling a car radio on his lap like a cat, waiting for Daddy to take a look at it. Daddy caught me staring at him and said, in life, anything can happen. He had rung the bell at the gate. Maposa went to see who it was, and then he called Rosanna. Rosanna let him in because he was a white boy. He'd just brought his radio from South Africa and the thing was already playing up. Those South Africans, I heard him say, they're a bunch of crooks, right skellums, not like us honest folks down here, lights off. He sat on Daddy's chair. I was sitting across the room from him, doing my homework on the dining room table. Rosanna went to make his tea. Hey, Lighty, I heard, what you doing? I'm not a Lighty, I wanted to tell him. I'm not tiny, and I'm not a boy. But his voice didn't sound as though he meant to be mean to me. Homework, I answered, in my best European voice. Homework, he said, leaning forward to put the radio on the table. I thought of how annoyed Mommy would be to find it there, possibly scratching the wood. It only needed to be moved a bit to go on top of the linen doily, but I couldn't do it. Talking about skellums, you should have seen what we guys got up to, how we mucked about, did fuck all at school. Fuck all echoed inside me. I couldn't believe that this white youth was sitting on my father's chair, his white tackies planted on the brown carpet. I tried to concentrate on my math problem, but the numbers would not stay still. His hair was cut in the same style as Craig Davis's, the youth leader at church, very short at the sides with a little tail at the back and the front looking like the bristles of a brush. When he reclined his head on Mummy's lace sofa back, it made me think of a porcupine. Craig had announced on Friday that he was heeding God's call and going to Pretoria to spread his word. Daddy said it was funny how, of late, God was targeting whites and being very specific in his relocation directions. I had overheard Craig tell one of the church deacons that there were way too many Fs now. The atmosphere had all changed. For a long time, we were the only non-white members of the church. On our very first Sunday at church, Mommy, Dad, and I had the whole row to ourselves, and no one sat behind, all in front of us. An old white lady gave Mommy a dirty look when their elbows brushed. Mind my language, sir, homework, eh? Rosanna brought him the tea and a plate of Marie biscuits. She looked at me as though I had done something wrong. He gulped down the tea and munched on the biscuit. He seemed very hungry. You look like a boffin, he said. What number you come in class, eh? I didn't want to tell him. Somehow I was embarrassed by it. Come on, cough up, don't be shy. Number 1, I said in my best European voice. Number 1, eh? He slapped his thigh and some tea spilled on the carpet. I told you so, I can spot a boffin from a mile away. Me, I was right off the scale, the other end of it. He coughed and choked on his biscuits and tea. He went red in his face and I could see the schoolboy in him. I tell you what, he said, since you're so smart, I'll give you a problem to solve. It's something that's been bothering me a lot. But before he could tell me the problem, Daddy came home and took a look at the car radio. They moved out to the workshop and I finished my homework. For days I thought about the problem, his problem that was bothering him so much. I wondered if it had anything to do with Mrs. Mackenzie, and this made me feel guilty, as if I could have done something to save her life. Because 3 days later, Mrs. Mackenzie was dead.